Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the Split Labs channel. Today is April 2nd, Thursday, 2026. Said that all the wrong ways. It's Thursday, April 2nd, 2026. Welcome back to the Split Labs channel. Before we get started and jump into our MLB best bets, as always, have to let you guys know everything that you're going to see here is completely powered by Split Labs. Because you guys know the line, we built the exact tool that we wanted to use as sports bettors. We're going to show you some public betting splits, line movement, market signals, all of our brand new tools on the site for specifically MLB. And if you want access to what the crowd is doing, where the line is going, and what the market is hinting at literally every single day, that's what we do. Head over to the link in the description, splitlabs.net. Promo code YouTube gets you 50% off your first month. All right. We've got an early game and then a couple late games, very small slate, so we're definitely gonna have to pick up spots here. Let's jump right in. I can't anticipate that this will be a really long video just because there's limited data, but let's jump in and let's do our best as always. Let's continue to end the week out strong, and let's start with the Twins and the Royals. All right, starting with the Twins and the Royals, we've got a lot of money on the Twins covering the spread. They're currently 1-4. The public believes in them now. Why is that? Well, 79% of bets, 85% of money on Minnesota Twins minus 1.5. I'm going to move down a little bit just so you guys can see the actual line movement. Price is trending towards the Royals, which doesn't make too much sense, just because, right, as we can see, the Twins are getting all of the money, not even majority, all of it. Same thing with the money line here, though. Open minus 160. Currently sitting at a minus 162, 73% of bets, 66% of money on the Royals. Pretty interesting given that price got cheaper, right? Twins open at plus 145, you're now sitting at a plus 136. Why? They're only having 27% of bets. Moving on to the total, we've got an over 9 here, 56% of bets, 45% of money. So seeing more money coming in on the under. Looks like sharp bettors are jumping in early on this nice opening line. The line is already actually adjusted from a 9.5 to a 9, so definitely something that we'd like to look at. I'm going to show you guys a brand new feature that we actually just added into Split Labs. It's called Bullpen Intelligence. How cool of a name is that? Where we actually just show you the starting pitchers that we have coming in on this game, and then kind of like the bullpen, so we can actually see who has the advantage after the starter comes in and, you know, does their work. ERAs, I mean, we've got Bradley, we've got Reagan's 9 ERA. It's short season, short amount of data so far, but, you know, averaging a 4 inning pitched right now per start. Not like Bradley is doing much better with a 4.3. So like, what's the depth here? Not expecting both of these starters to go long, so I think we do have to kind of look at this bullpen here and kind of analyze it and just make sure that we're picking the team and playing to their strengths. Don't forget, Minnesota is the underdog here. However, looking at their bullpen, both of them aren't great. However, where are they edging each other out? Minnesota's got the better bullpen. I mean, look at the numbers here. ERA, they've got a 6.23. WHIP, they've got a 1.21. It's not considerably better, but that ERA definitely plays a role, especially if these pitchers don't go far, right? Looking at, you know, the options that we have on the bullpen as well, definitely something to consider here. And I do like the advantage that we have with if the pitchers don't go long. Not only does their starting pitcher have a smaller, lower ERA, they have a better bullpen, and I like that to back them up. I can understand why the public is jumping all over the Twins here, even though they're 1-4. I'm not upset at an upset here. This ERA is concerning, right? Like, I know this number is trending downwards, but it's not looking good. How do you look at these numbers and think that the total goes under, unless the weather conditions are not favorable? And looking at it now, you know, scroll down a little bit more to another fantastic Split Labs feature. Sorry guys, I have to keep saying it. These tools are so exciting and I'm so embedded in them. This is the forecast for tomorrow at 2:10 Eastern Standard Time. Conditions are favorable. I know the projection says 8.1, so we're like eyeing on the side of caution there, but extra base hits are favorable, home runs are favorable, Ks are down, the bullpens are shaky. Give me an over 9. I'm getting a better number. It's already dropped, which typically would concern me, but looking at this bullpen data, how do I bet the under? How do I think that either of these teams are going to be efficient? And then give me the Minnesota Twins. I'm willing to do a plus 1.5. I'd lean towards the money line. Don't officially count it towards the card. I'm not going to, throw my hand in that basket there. They are 1-4 for a reason. Let me just go down really quickly and kind of see who they've played against. Orioles, Royals. Okay, Orioles they've had a little bit of a rocky start, but Orioles are the Orioles, and the Royals are a pretty solid team as well. So I'm not really too upset at the teams that they've lost at here. These are competitive teams. It's not like they're losing to the Rockies or, the Marlins, things like that. So I'm going to lean into this Minnesota Twins plus 1.5. Again, as I've been doing lately, I've been looking at the MLB data really early. So this is really the data where people that are trying to get the best numbers and people that don't want to line shop in the morning or closer to tip off. It's just tip off, first pitch. So I'm gonna ride with this. Give me the Minnesota Twins plus 1.5. Give me the over 9 just because the bullpens they're telling a lot here. Let's move on to the Mets and the Giants here. And then we're going to dive into some player props here, just a smaller slate. So, there's not too many reads on the board here. Let's knock it out. Mets, Giants. Mets, disgusting loss yesterday. What was that? Anyway, Giants, clearly the Mets are not being trusted by the public, at least to cover the spread. They are not scoring many runs. 91% of bets, 93% of money on San Francisco plus 1.5. Zero faith in San Francisco, the New York Mets covering the spread. Rightfully so. They haven't proven themselves. So the public is clearly backing off here. 76% of bets, 73% of money on New York Mets money line. And then on the total 7.5, the under, 61% of bets, 71% of money. Let's look at the line movement really quickly and let's talk about it. The number in itself, the Mets opened at a plus 134, getting better, plus 146. Makes sense given that San Francisco is getting all the money. However, when it's this amount of money, I get extremely nervous. The books have this data, right? That's no surprise. It's on us to put this together and piece it together and understand where the books need to make, any type of necessary adjustments. I just don't see the books winning this. I think the public is running scared. We're going to dive into that. Give me the Mets money line. I think I've taken them maybe twice. I definitely took them in my last video, I believe. And they've let me down, but I've got the Mets winning this game. And I think it's going to be pretty convincingly. This is their bounce back spot, especially after the loss that they had yesterday. They should have had that in the bag. Low scoring affair, and then you lose it by basically a pop-up. Not a pop-up. That was a little aggressive, but still just non-competitive. So I think we turn it around at least tomorrow anyway. This is the Mets. This is the Mets, and I think it's typically how they go. Money line, it is trending towards the Mets. Opened at a minus 115, now sitting at a minus 124. Fantastic. Not as much movement as I would expect with 76% of bets, but again, this is baseball. Movements are very subtle when it comes to line movement, so we're not going to read too much into that. Now, this total opened at a 7, now sitting at a 7.5. That doesn't make any sense because we know that 61% of bets, 71% of money is going on the under 7.5. It's really early and the books have already made an adjustment the opposite way. Reverse line movement, things we love to see. Give me the over 7.5, and I'm going to tell you why. Look at the bullpen usage here. We don't have the starters listed here. However, both of these bullpens are fantastic. Beautiful ERAs, things like that. Everyone is going to jump on this under. You're going to play into the public's hands. That's kind of how I'm reading this. The run risk is extremely low. They've been fantastic. They've been holding it down. Let me look at their recent games. All relatively low scoring, with the exception of the Pirates. Don't know what happened there. All of these have been low scoring. The Padres versus the Giants, that's their run game. And then you look back further, yeah, everything's lower. So I'm going to lean into that. Give me the over 7.5 on this game and give me the Mets. I think it's mostly going to come from the Mets. Giants have the worst, and I say worst loosely, right in between this matchup on the ERA. I think this is going to come from the Mets. So give me the Mets money line. You can put me down for a Mets minus 1.5, and I might hate myself for it, but I'm gonna ride it. Give me a Mets money line. Give me a Mets minus 1.5. Give me the over 7.5. I think it's going to be a very convincing win. With that being said, let's move into some player props. All right, guys, let's take a look at some player props really quickly. We're only going to do one game, again, small slate, so we have to pick our spots, not force our hands on anything. We're going to start with the Twins and the Royals here. I have the Twins kind of being the bad guy here. Cole, in his last start, line 6.5 Ks. He hit a 5 versus the Braves. Let me take a look at, oh, wow. Look at that beautiful chart. Look at that. Again, we're listing it as a favorable matchup for that pitcher. Not surprising. I mean, he's hit this line pretty convincing. How do I fade this? How do I fade this? You can't. If I lose this, I just have to accept the L. Give me the over 6.5 here. He's hit it in his last 5 games against him. I have no reason to think that he will not do it again. If he loses this, it's completely because I'm cursed, or apparently, because again, beautiful chart. Give me the over 6.5 here. With that being said, if I'm going to lean into this, even though I do have the Twins covering, that means we don't have people getting hits too often. So who do we want to look at for not having a base hit? He had a base hit yesterday, so I do like the thought process of fading this. Let me take a look at all. He's got a really good hit rate against the Royals here. I think he might be a good target. He does hit them well. We're looking at a back-to-back. Let's see. This moves to 62%, about a 62% hit rate. Gonna avoid it. Let's take a look at Byron. He didn't get a hit yesterday. He's an over minus 209. If you want to toss it on a parlay, for sure. But I can't bet that. I can't tell you guys to bet that either. Let's take a look at this one. He got a hit yesterday, 46% hit rate. Not terrible. He will be away. We're now at 50%. And then let's take a look at a back-to-back. Look at that. Look at that chart. Has not hit. Give me the under plus 142 on Victor. The data's in our favor. You combine it with versus the opponent, away, and on a back-to-back. He's not hit this since 2024, so I'm on board. Give me the under at plus money here. All right, guys, with that being said, those are all of my picks today. Short and sweet, even though I don't think this video was completely short. As always, please like and subscribe if this video helped you out in any capacity. Let me know if you're tailing or fading in the comments. And as always, if you'd like access to everything that you saw here today and then some for every single sport, head over to the link in the description, splitlabs.net. Promo code YouTube gets you 50% off your first month, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. And we're going to call it a day there.